Hello everyone, and welcome back to Gone Legends. In today's video, we will be honoring American celebrities who sadly passed away today and over the last few days, as well as notable figures from around the world whose loss has touched many. Before we begin, we would truly appreciate your support. Please take a moment to like this video. Your kindness helps us continue sharing these stories. Thank you. And now, let us start.
Rob Reiner was born Robert Norman Reiner in 1947 into a household where comedy was not just entertainment, but oxygen. His father, Carl Reiner, was already a towering figure in American humor, a man whose words shaped television and laughter itself. But growing up inside genius is not the same as inheriting it. From the beginning, Rob Reiner understood that legacy could inspire, but it could also suffocate. Expectations hovered quietly, waiting to be met or disappointed. As a young boy, Rob watched creativity unfold in real time. Writers debated punchlines like philosophers. Performers chased timing with the seriousness of survival. Laughter wasn't accidental, it was crafted. But Rob didn't immediately know where he belonged. Acting called to him, but so did storytelling. He studied film, wrestled with identity, and questioned whether his voice would ever be distinct enough to stand on its own. Then came television. Then came All in the Family. As Michael Meathead Stivic, Rob Reiner entered American homes every week, playing a character loud with ideals, clashing endlessly with Archie Bunker. But beneath the comedy was something revolutionary. Through humor, Rob helped television confront politics, racism, generational conflict, and social change. His performance wasn't just funny, it was brave. And yet, even at the height of popularity, he felt unfinished. So he stepped away from acting, and everything changed. Behind the camera, Rob Reiner found his true language. One film after another, he reshaped modern cinema. This Is Spinal Tap didn't simply parody music, it redefined satire. Stand By Me captured childhood not as nostalgia, but as fragile transformation. The Princess Bride became timeless because it understood love, humor, and sincerity without irony. When Harry Met Sally didn't just tell a love story, it changed how romance sounded, how conversations lingered, how vulnerability felt. Rob Reiner's genius was never loud, it was human. He trusted dialogue, he trusted silence, he trusted people. His legacy is not one genre, but many. Not one success, but a body of work rooted in empathy. He proved that laughter could carry truth, and that the most powerful stories are often the quietest. Rob Reiner is still with us, but his legacy already belongs to history. Michael Caine was born Maurice Joseph Micklewhite Jr. in 1933, in London, into a world shaped by war, scarcity, and survival. His childhood was not glamorous. His father was a fish market porter. His mother cleaned houses. Bombs fell around him during World War II, forcing evacuation, separation, and fear at an age when innocence should have been protected. He grew up fast. And he grew up aware. The streets taught him how to observe people. How they walked. How they spoke. How they hid emotion behind posture and pride. Acting, when it arrived, was not fantasy, it was escape. He studied theater, changed his name, and entered an industry that rarely welcomed working-class boys with regional accents. Hollywood wanted polish. Michael Caine brought truth. Films like Zulu announced his arrival, but it was Alfie that changed everything. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't safe. He was flawed, charming, and painfully human. And audiences believed him. From there, his career stretched across decades: The Italian Job, Get Carter, Hannah and Her Sisters, The Cider House Rules, The Dark Knight. Michael Caine did not chase prestige, he chased honesty. He played villains without apology, mentors with warmth, broken men with dignity. He aged on screen without fear. 2 Academy Awards later, he remained grounded, reminding young actors that talent means nothing without discipline. His legacy is not perfection, it is persistence. Michael Caine showed the world that where you come from does not decide where you end up. Only how hard you refuse to disappear. Anthony Hopkins was born Philip Anthony Hopkins in 1937, in Wales, into a quiet, lonely childhood. He struggled academically, felt misunderstood, and retreated inward. Words often failed him. Silence did not. Music, painting, and performance became his refuge, a place where emotion could exist without explanation. Encouraged toward acting, he trained rigorously, absorbing classical theater with obsessive dedication. But success did not come easily. Alcoholism shadowed him. Doubt followed him. Fame arrived slowly. Then came the silence of the lambs. With barely 16 minutes of screen time, Anthony Hopkins created one of cinema's most unforgettable characters. Hannibal Lecter was not loud. He was controlled, intelligent, terrifying in restraint. Hopkins understood something rare, that fear lives in stillness. An Academy Award followed. But he never slowed. From The Remains of the Day to Nixon, from Legends of the Fall to The Father, Hopkins delivered performances defined by precision and depth. Even late in life, his work grew richer, more vulnerable. His Oscar win for The Father was not a comeback, it was confirmation. Anthony Hopkins showed us that greatness does not require noise, only truth. He remains a master of restraint, a reminder that the deepest emotions are often spoken softly. Marie Osmond was born Olive Marie Osmond on October 13, 1959, into a family whose name already carried weight, expectation, and an image America had decided to love. The Osmonds were not just performers. They were a symbol. Clean-cut, smiling, faith-driven, and impossibly polished, they represented an ideal at a time when the world was craving reassurance. And into that carefully constructed dream stepped a little girl who did not ask for the spotlight, but was born directly into its glare. From the moment Marie could walk, the stage was waiting. Music wasn't something she discovered later in life. It surrounded her before she could fully understand it. Harmonies filled the house. Rehearsals replaced ordinary childhood routines. Applause was familiar long before privacy ever was. In the Osmond household, talent was expected, discipline was required, and public perception mattered deeply. Marie learned early that being watched was normal, and that mistakes were not. Unlike her brothers, whose fame exploded through pop music and synchronized performances, Marie carried a different energy. Softer, more introspective, more emotionally transparent. While Donnie and the others dominated charts with precision and polish, Marie gravitated toward something quieter and more vulnerable. Country music called to her not because it was safe, but because it allowed emotion to breathe. In 1973, when Marie released Paper Roses, the song did more than climb charts. It revealed her. The lyrics spoke of love that looked beautiful on the surface but lacked substance underneath. For a teenager barely into adolescence, the song carried a weight far older than her years. Her voice, gentle but aching, connected with listeners who heard truth behind the sweetness. Paper Roses reached #1, and in that moment, Marie Osmond was no longer just the Osmond sister. She was an artist. But fame, especially inherited fame, does not arrive gently. It comes layered with expectation. Marie was expected to be grateful, expected to smile, expected to uphold the Osmond image flawlessly. There was little room for confusion, doubt, or vulnerability. Childhood blurred into performance. Adolescence unfolded under studio lights. And adulthood arrived without preparation for a life outside constant scrutiny. Television soon embraced her. Donnie and Marie became a staple of American entertainment. Bright colors, playful banter, wholesome humor. Marie's warmth radiated through the screen. She appeared approachable, cheerful, effortlessly kind. Viewers felt like they knew her. Like she was safe. Like she belonged in their living rooms. But behind that familiar smile, something else was growing. Pressure, loneliness, and exhaustion. Marie Osmond was navigating adulthood without the luxury of anonymity. Every decision was judged. Every relationship analyzed. Every emotional shift interpreted by strangers. She married young, divorced publicly, remarried, and endured the painful collapse of private life under public commentary. The world that adored her also felt entitled to her. Motherhood, which many expected to ground her, became another battlefield. After the birth of her child, Marie experienced severe postpartum depression, a condition rarely discussed at the time, especially not by someone carrying such a wholesome public image. She felt trapped inside expectations that left no room for darkness. Smiling became a performance. Silence became survival. She did what many women of her generation were taught to do. She endured quietly. But silence does not heal pain. It compounds it. As years passed, Marie faced financial pressure, business setbacks, and emotional isolation. Fame, once thought to be a shield, offered no protection against despair. At her lowest point, Marie Osmond confronted something terrifying. Not failure, not criticism, but the feeling of being unneeded. Invisible beneath visibility. Lost beneath legacy. She later spoke openly about surviving suicidal thoughts. About reaching a place so dark that survival itself felt like rebellion. And when she finally broke the silence, the impact was profound. Marie didn't speak as a celebrity seeking sympathy. She spoke as a woman choosing honesty over perfection. Her openness helped shift conversations around mental health, particularly postpartum depression, at a time when few public figures dared to expose vulnerability. But life was not finished testing her. In 2010, Marie endured unimaginable loss when her son, Michael Blosel, died by suicide at the age of 18. There are no words adequate for that kind of grief. No public strength that can contain it. No fame that can soften it. The loss shattered her world in ways only a parent could understand. And yet, even then, she stayed. Marie Osmond did not retreat permanently from life. She mourned. She broke. She questioned everything. But she also chose to live. To honor her son not through silence, but through compassion. She became an advocate for mental health awareness, speaking not from theory, but from lived pain. Professionally, she reinvented herself again and again. Broadway welcomed her. Las Vegas stages reignited her presence. Talk shows gave her a new voice, one rooted not in performance, but in perspective. She wrote books not about fame, but about resilience. About faith tested, not assumed. About healing that comes slowly, unevenly, and honestly. Marie Osmond did something rare. She allowed her story to evolve. She did not cling to youth. She did not hide scars. She did not pretend survival was graceful. Instead, she reframed strength. Strength, she showed, is waking up after devastation. Strength is choosing openness in a world that profits from illusion. Strength is staying when leaving would be easier. Her legacy is not flawless success. It is endurance. Marie Osmond represents countless women who carried expectations heavier than their voices. Mothers who smiled while breaking. Artists who performed through pain. Public figures who were denied the right to be human. She gave permission, especially to women, to admit struggle without surrendering dignity. Today, Marie Osmond stands not as a symbol of perfection, but of truth. A woman who survived fame, grief, mental illness, and relentless scrutiny, yet still chose compassion. Still chose honesty. Still chose life. Her story reminds us that the brightest smiles can conceal the deepest battles. That strength is not loud. And that survival on its own is an achievement worthy of respect. Marie Osmond did not just stay relevant. She stayed real. And in a world obsessed with illusion, that may be her greatest legacy. These lives did not follow the same road. But they shared something powerful. They chose meaning over comfort. Truth over safety. Endurance over escape. This is Gone Legends. And these are the stories that remain, when the lights fade, but the impact never does.